Emma stacked a row of cardboard boxes along the driveway, her fingers trembling slightly as she adjusted a price tag. The morning sun caught the dust on old lamps and picture frames, relics from a marriage she was determined to forget. This sale wasn't just about money, it was about clearing space, breathing again. She looked up when a shadow stretched across the yard. Karen, perfectly pressed blouse, sunglasses perched like armor, lips pursed as if the air itself had offended her. "Emma," Karen said smoothly, though her voice carried the sharpness of glass, "you really should have asked the HOA before putting this display together." Emma forced a polite smile. "It's just a garage sale." One day, that's all. Karen tilted her head, eyes scanning the driveway as though searching for ammunition. Rules are rules. A street sale like this disrupts property values. Some of us work hard to maintain standards. Behind her, a child tugged at his mother's sleeve, pointing at a box of toys. Emma's heart softened, but Karen's gaze followed, cold and watchful. The sale continued for an hour, neighbors coming and going with cheerful chatter, until Emma noticed a white SUV slowing near the curb. A man in a suit stepped out, clipboard in hand. HOA. Emma's stomach dropped. She caught Karen's smirk from across the lawn. Small, satisfied, venomous. The man approached. "Ma'am, we received a complaint about an unauthorized sale." "You'll need to shut this down." Emma's chest burned, but she swallowed her anger, thanking him through clenched teeth. The neighbors dispersed awkwardly, glancing between the two women. As the driveway emptied, Emma stood alone, staring at Karen's retreating figure. Polite smiles had vanished. In their place, something darker had taken root, and Emma wasn't planning to let it die. Emma didn't sleep that night. She lay awake replaying the smirk on Karen's face, the humiliation of watching her neighbors scatter as if she had done something wrong. By morning, her shame had cooled into something sharper. She wasn't going to let Karen win. If one small garage sale was a problem, then Emma would make it bigger, louder, brighter, impossible to ignore. She began knocking on doors, inviting neighbors with a determined smile. "Bring food, music, chairs. Let's turn this into something the HOA can't bury." Word spread quickly. The following Saturday, the street pulsed with life. Folding tables lined the sidewalks, children raced on bicycles, and the smell of grilled burgers drifted through the air. Someone set up speakers, filling the block with upbeat music. Emma stood in the center, laughing with families, her earlier humiliation replaced with warmth and belonging. Then she felt it. Eyes on her. Across the street, Karen stood stiffly on her porch, arms crossed, jaw tight. Her lawn, once a symbol of pristine order, now looked out of place against the joy spilling over the neighborhood. "Emma," Karen's voice cut through the music when she finally approached. Her smile stretched thin. "This gathering isn't authorized." You know that. Emma met her gaze without flinching. "Funny, Karen. Looks like the neighbors love it. Maybe the HOA should try supporting the community instead of strangling it." Gasps and chuckles rippled through the crowd. Karen's face flushed, but she said nothing more, retreating as if every pair of eyes burned holes into her back. From the porch, she watched for hours, expression hardening. Every cheer, every laugh was a reminder of her loss of control. To the neighborhood, it was a party. To Karen, it was betrayal. By dusk, lanterns lit the street in a warm glow. Emma leaned against a table, exhausted but triumphant. She didn't notice Karen's curtains twitching, or the way her shadow lingered long after the music faded. The block party had ended, but something had begun, something Karen couldn't let go. After the block party, Emma felt a fleeting sense of victory. Neighbors stopped by to thank her, some whispering how refreshing it was to finally push back against the HOA's stranglehold. But beneath the congratulations, Emma noticed the way some glanced nervously over their shoulders, as if even their words might be overheard. 2 nights later, a plain envelope slid under her door. No name, no return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "Check the books. HOA dues don't add up." Her pulse quickened. She sat at her kitchen table long into the night, scrolling through public HOA filings. At first, nothing seemed unusual until she spotted the discrepancies. Thousands of dollars allocated for community improvements, yet no projects had ever been completed. The more she dug, the clearer it became. Money was missing, and at the center of it all was Karen, the treasurer. The next afternoon, Emma confided in her neighbor Tom, a retired accountant who had lived on the street for decades. He lowered his voice to a whisper. "I've suspected it for years," Tom admitted, "but Karen isn't alone. She's got a circle. Friends on the board who cover for her. They shut down anyone who asks questions." Emma frowned. "Why hasn't anyone reported it?" Tom sighed. "Because anyone who tries doesn't last here. They move, or they're forced out." Emma's mind raced. It wasn't just about pettiness anymore. Karen had real power, and she was willing to wield it. That night, Emma walked past Karen's house. The blinds were drawn, but she saw figures moving inside. Karen and two others she recognized from board meetings. Their voices carried faintly through the glass, sharp and clipped, like conspirators circling wagons. The realization struck her with icy clarity. This wasn't just a feud. It was a war she had stumbled into without knowing the rules. Karen wasn't fighting alone. Emma returned home, unease settling in her chest. She had proof of something rotten, but exposing it would make her more than a nuisance. It would make her a target. From across the street, a curtain shifted. Karen was watching, and Emma knew the next move wouldn't come from her. The harassment began subtly. Anonymous letters slipped under Emma's door, each one colder than the last. Then came the nails scattered across her driveway, the deep slash across her car's tires. By the third week, the late-night pounding on her front door had her sleeping with the lights on, phone clutched in her hand. She couldn't take it anymore. One stormy evening, she spotted Karen's silhouette outside, standing at the edge of her yard. Emma marched out, fury burning hotter than fear. "Stop hiding behind your board and your little clique!" Emma shouted, rain dripping from her hair. "You think you can scare me into silence?" Karen's smile was sharp, almost unhinged. "Silence? Emma, you don't understand. You're digging where you shouldn't. Those funds, they're not just mine." Emma froze. "What are you talking about?" Karen leaned closer, her voice a hiss. "Half this board has skeletons, affairs, lies. Do you really think your precious Tom told you everything?" The words landed like a knife. Emma's stomach turned. Tom? The man who had warned her, guided her? Lightning cracked across the sky. Emma's hands shook as she pointed at Karen. "You're destroying people's lives. It ends tonight." The confrontation exploded, shoving, shouting, neighbors peering through blinds. A scream pierced the storm, followed by the sickening thud of a body hitting the pavement. Emma staggered back, chest heaving, her palms slick with rain and something warmer. Karen lay sprawled on the ground, blood pooling beneath her head, her breath ragged but alive. The silence that followed was heavier than the storm. Curtains pulled back, faces wide-eyed. Emma stood frozen, surrounded by witnesses, knowing nothing would ever be the same. And somewhere in the chaos, she realized, this wasn't victory. It was only the beginning. Red and blue lights washed over the cul-de-sac, flashing across wet pavement where Karen's blood still stained the ground. Officers moved quickly, stringing tape, separating neighbors whose whispers spread like wildfire. Some claimed Emma had defended herself. Others insisted she snapped. Emma sat on the curb, shivering beneath a thin blanket. Every sound felt muffled. The radios, the questions, even Karen's weak groans as paramedics lifted her away. Days later, headlines swirled. HOA under investigation for embezzlement. Files leaked, names exposed. Karen's clique dismantled piece by piece. To outsiders, Emma was the catalyst who tore down corruption. But alone in her home, she saw it differently. She replayed the shove, the fall, the flash of blood. Justice had come, yes, but not cleanly. Staring into the darkened window, Emma whispered to herself, voice breaking, "Did I fight for the truth or become exactly what I hated?" And no answer came back.